This special edition of ABC 10 News starts now.
We begin with the breaking news that is still developing at this hour. You are looking at video from this afternoon. President Trump arriving at Walter Reed Medical Center. He tested positive last night and has mild symptoms of coronavirus.
I think I'm doing very well, but we're going to make sure that things work out.
The president posted that message to Twitter just before leaving the White House. The First Lady and 2 senators are among those close to the president who also tested positive. The president is expected to work from the hospital for several days. Good evening. I'm Kimberly Hunt.
And I'm Steve Atkinson. We have team coverage for you, including new information on the president's symptoms, as well as the impact this could have on the election. We begin with ABC News reporter Elizabeth Schulze with the latest on President Trump's condition.
President Trump wearing a mask and giving his signature thumbs up as he departed the White House under his own power, boarding Marine One en route to Walter Reed Hospital. The White House saying the president will work from the presidential offices at the hospital for the next few days out of an abundance of caution and at the recommendation of his physician and medical experts. Sources telling ABC News the president is experiencing fever, low-grade chills, nasal congestion, and a cough. The White House tonight calling the president's symptoms mild. Earlier, the president received a small dose of an experimental antibody cocktail, according to the White House physician. The president's son, Donald Trump Jr., telling ABC News he spoke to his father this morning, describing him as a little tired but in great spirits. Eric Trump calling his father a true warrior. With the election upended by the news, Joe Biden saying this is not a moment for political attacks, pulling all of his negative campaign ads. The former vice president and his wife testing negative today.
My wife Jill and I prayed that they'll make a quick and full recovery.
Sources tell ABC News President Trump did not participate in a scheduled call this afternoon about COVID-19 with senior citizens. Vice President Mike Pence stepping in instead. The vice president's spokesperson confirming Pence also tested negative today. A White House official tells ABC News the president has not transferred power to Vice President Mike Pence at this time. Elizabeth Schulze, ABC News, Washington.
Now, speaking of that, it's been in several years since an American president has suffered a health emergency this severe. That's left a lot of people wondering what happens if President Trump's condition deteriorates. That's dictated by the 25th Amendment, which was ratified after the assassination of President Kennedy. If President Trump feels he can no longer perform his duties, he can temporarily hand over power to Vice President Mike Pence. This has rarely been invoked. The last time was when George W. Bush had a medical procedure. He handed over power to Vice President Dick Cheney for just 20 minutes while Bush was under sedation.
The president and First Lady are not the only ones around the White House to test positive. In the past 90 minutes, White House counselor Kellyanne Conway tweeted she has tested positive. She says that she has a light cough and has begun to quarantine. The whole story started yesterday when advisor Hope Hicks revealed she was positive and symptomatic with COVID. Today, Utah Senator Mike Lee revealed he tested positive. He was at a White House meeting last weekend, and if he has to miss a significant period of time, that could affect the Supreme Court hearings and vote. Same for North Carolina Senator Thom Tillis. He just revealed tonight he tested positive and is isolating for 10 days. Republican National Committee Chair Ronna McDaniel tested positive. She was with the president a week ago and is quarantining. And finally, University of Notre Dame President Father John Jenkins revealed a positive test. He attended the announcement of the Supreme Court nomination at the White House last weekend.
Of course, President Trump's opponent, Joe Biden, shared that debate stage with the president this week. He says he took 2 coronavirus tests this morning and both were negative. So he proceeded with the campaign stop in Michigan, where he offered prayers to the first family and said this shows that no one is immune to the virus.
This is not a matter of politics. It's a bracing reminder to all of us that we have to take this virus seriously. It's not going away automatically.
Biden's wife Jill and vice presidential candidate Kamala Harris also tested negative today. Harris is still scheduled to debate Vice President Mike Pence coming up next Wednesday. The uncertainty over President Trump's health is also creating questions about what is next for the campaign. With several states already voting, our ABC 10 News reporter John Horn spoke with experts about the impact to the race just 1 month from election night.
The last month before an election is a critical time for candidates to fire up their base and make sure they actually go vote. President Trump, at least for now, won't be able to do that in person.
Trump had been out holding big rallies despite the coronavirus pandemic. His latest in Minnesota on Wednesday in front of thousands, a day before he announced he tested positive for COVID-19.
Rolling into the last month, the president was planning on being on the campaign trail in front of large crowds where he thrives, where the venue in which he performs best. And this is certainly an obstacle towards that style of campaigning.
UC San Diego political analyst Thad Kauser says losing that enthusiasm is an obstacle toward his re-election. Now, an already political virus could become even more so depending on the outcome.
Right, it'll confirm the worries that Joe Biden supporters had that the country and the nation and its president weren't taking this pandemic seriously enough. If President Trump, as we all hope, has a quick recovery, I think that will confirm the belief that the Trump base has that this is something that we can overcome.
Kauser says he expects Joe Biden to continue to campaign on the road, but even more carefully. He says if either of them were to become incapacitated, it would make for an even more chaotic election because ballots will have already started going out. John Horn, ABC 10 News.
Despite that, Kauser says that each party has policies in place to select a replacement candidate should they need to. However, determining how the Electoral College would vote, that could become quickly contested.
News of the president's diagnosis sent the stock market sliding. The drop wasn't as bad as some people anticipated, but the Dow did fall 134 points today. The Nasdaq was down 251 points and the S&P was down 32. Technology stocks were hit particularly hard. And we will be tracking the president's condition throughout the night. You can get breaking updates through the ABC 10 News mobile app that is free. Just search 10 News in the App Store.
All right, happening now, the celebration is underway in the gas lamp. This series started off shaky, but now the Padres are moving on in Major League Baseball playoffs. Our ABC 10 News sports director Ben Higgins is live at Petco Park, where the Padres didn't even have a true starting pitcher tonight, but the bullpen really stepped up. Ben.
Yeah, sorry, Steve. They're celebrating behind me. It's getting kind of loud out here, but after last night's slugfest, it was a very different kind of game for the Padres. Win, and they'd advance to the National League Division Series to face the Dodgers. Lose, and their season would be over. Manager Jace Tingler made the late decision to start veteran reliever Craig Stammen, and the decision paid off. With some help from Fernando Tatis, Stammen kept the Cardinals off the board early. Game stayed scoreless until the Padres finally broke through in the bottom of the fifth on a double by Tatis, an RBI double to the wall by Eric Hosmer, 1-0 Padres. And they'd add on in the seventh. Bases loaded for Manny Machado. Not a grand slam, but the throw home is off target, and Jake Cronenworth slides home. Hosmer followed with a bases-loaded walk to make it 3-0. Then in the eighth, one last home run at Petco Park for 2020. It's the rookie Cronenworth to center field. A little insurance that the Padres didn't need, because in the ninth, the Padres' ninth pitcher of the game, Trevor Rosenthal, struck out the side to complete the shutout and give the Padres their first playoff series win since 1998. Well, the Padres will now have 3 days to recover before they head to Arlington, Texas, where they'll meet the LA Dodgers in the best-of-5 National League Division Series. Padres fans are all over. Beat LA chants on Harbor Drive. Live at Petco Park, I'm Ben Higgins, ABC 10 News.
All right, we're glad they're excited, but we also know Ben is in the middle of the crowd. He's headed for his mask. We'll let you get out of there, Ben. And just one day after several sharks were spotted at Torrey Pines State Beach, 2 more sightings today off La Jolla. Lifeguards tell ABC 10 News reporter Mimi Alcala why the large number of sharks were not a cause for concern at the moment.
Lifeguards got reports from a couple of surfers saying they spotted a 6-foot shark in the water here at Scripps Beach, but no closures were put in place, and they say right now this is not too much of a concern.
As the warm weather continues to draw people to San Diego beaches, San Diego lifeguards are asking everyone to be cautious but not alarmed after shark sightings were reported Friday.
There was no aggressive behavior, and we're just out of an abundance of caution advising the public. But at this point, this has not posed any safety hazard to the public.
At about 10:30 Friday morning here at Scripps Beach, lifeguards say a surfer reported seeing a 6-foot shark in the water. It wasn't acting aggressively and it was heading north. That surfer says she was about 100 yards from the beach within the surf line. Crews quickly put up some warning signs.
Once we received the initial report, we put our rescue watercraft in the water, and we also deployed a surf boat to scan the area.
Lifeguard Lieutenant Lonnie Stevens says that's when they received a second report of a sighting.
A second surfer north of Scripps Pier, which as the crow flies would be about half a mile, reported seeing a similar animal around that same time.
This comes just one day after several sharks were spotted at Torrey Pine State Beach near surfers, swimming about 50 feet from the shore just north of Black's Beach.
We're lucky to have Scripps Institute of Oceanography right here at La Jolla. And they are reporting that this is normal behavior for this time of year for those animals.
For now, beachgoers can stay in the water, and surfers here didn't appear to be too worried.
Just sharks, they don't really attack anyone. I don't think they're probably not very aggressive, right?
Mimi Alcala, ABC 10 News.
His last word was right. And there were no additional shark sightings as of 4 p.m. The low-level advisory was lifted and warning signs were removed.
And we do expect thousands of people heading to the beach over this long, hot weekend. Here's our meteorologist, Angelica Campos.
Hi, Steve. Hi, Kim. Hello, everybody. Another record day. This is the third day in a row. San Diego didn't break the record. We made it to 90 degrees, and the record was 94. But we did break records in Poway, in Escondido, in Vista, in Oceanside. We tied the record of 89 degrees. Even at the harbor, we also tied the record of 85 degrees. And then over towards Carlsbad, we broke the record with 91 degrees. Previous record was 88. Not in this graphic, but clearly not enough space for all the numbers across the county. Now, the good news is that we're starting to see changes tonight. More clouds are going to start building, and the temperatures are actually in the 70s, not 80s like it was last night. 73 degrees in Ramona, 89 in Ocotillo Wells right now. We do expect the numbers to continue cooling down, but it is going to be a hot and dry weekend with elevated fire danger. On our 7-day forecast, I'll show you how much better it's going to be as we head into next week.